It's a country rich with history and a place of legends and mythical landscapes. Wales is the perfect venue for adventure racing. This year, 36 teams of 4 people have come to the land of the Red Dragon to race from its northern to southern points in a non-stop test of endurance. This is the ITERA Expedition Race 2014. The course has been designed by Open Adventure to take in the most spectacular parts of Wales. But as a round of the Adventure Racing World Championship, it must test the elite teams to their limits, racing day and night for 5 days, with as little sleep as possible, facing whatever challenges are thrown their way.
Can't see anything.
On a 600-kilometre course. The mixed teams of 4 gather within the castle walls of the historic town of Carnarvon for the long-anticipated start.
Waiting 8 or 9 months for this.
There are many international quartets, and among the favourites to win are Team Walhalla, 3 South Americans and 1 from the Basque region of Spain.
I've been racing since 2000. I've done like over 20 expedition races like this. So we race with a very good team. We're 3rd place now in the world ranking. So we have very good experience in this race.
It's a very, I think, strong field of teams. I think Europeans are very good racers. I think they're a little bit deeper maybe sometimes than American racers overall. So I think we have a healthy respect of the competition. We feel pretty good about our experience and strategy and our ability to maybe move up in the field as the race goes on, but we expect to probably be in the middle for a while, at the beginning at least.
British competition comes in the form of Hagloff Silver, led by Bruce Duncan. For the British teams, there could be some home advantage on offer.
Wales is going to surprise a few people, mid-Wales especially. It's rough terrain, but it's beautiful terrain. It's a journey, it's an expedition, it involves a lot of different skills.
The course begins with the castles of the north coast. Then over the next 5 days, the teams will be racing the spine of the Welsh Dragon, via its most spectacular mountains, rivers and even the caves that run beneath the Brecon Beacons, the training grounds of the British forces. Fittingly, for a journey that takes in the best of Wales, the final destination is the capital city of Cardiff. Carnarvon Castle was strategically situated at the mouth of the Menai Straits by ancient Welsh and English royalty. The teams race out of the castle to reach the water and begin a 25-kilometre kayak stage through the straits to Bangor Pier. By the end of this leg, Team Adidas Terex, former world champions and perhaps the fastest of the British teams, should be near the front.
I just love the adventure side of it. I like the competitive side of it. I just love just going into the wilderness, especially the UK and home soil, and just going into just beautiful places and doing things I enjoy, kayaking, mountain biking and running. And it's just you just lose yourself in it. You lose yourself in the adventure and the 4 days. It's like being in a parallel universe.
One of the first challenges the Welsh landscape throws in the way of the teams is the Swellies. 12 kilometres from Carnarvon, the Menai Straits narrow between the Welsh mainland and the island of Anglesey, and the tidal currents accelerate and a white mass of overflows and whirlpools are formed. This section of the strait is in between 2 historic bridges that join Anglesey with the mainland. Thomas Telford's Menai Bridge of 1826 and Robert Stevenson's Britannia Bridge of 1850. At Bangor Pier, Grace's Adidas Terex are in the lead, but Walhalla, Hagloffs and the Swedish quartet Sweco Adventure, another team to watch out for, are all in the mix.
We used the current pretty well, so we gained on a lot of teams, gained some positions. It was a good pedal.
Hagloffs will settle for losing just a few minutes to the leaders on this stage.
It's very nice to sort of move at really good speed, and it's a pretty stunning start. Yeah, we went well actually. We're not the best paddling team, so we only lost a few minutes on that, so we were really chuffed.
A 25-kilometre cycle finishes the journey to another castle, Conwy, at the opposite end of the Menai Straits. Here the teams must explore the ancient walls and towers on an orienteering stage.
So the south must be there.
As Valhalla arrive for the challenge, the leaders, Adidas Terrex, are away on the next stage. More biking, up to Bethesda in the heart of Snowdonia. As you travel around Wales, the heritage of slate quarrying can be seen everywhere. And at Bethesda, it's been harnessed into something for adrenaline lovers. At the end of the 19th century, Penrhyn Quarry was the largest slate quarry in the world. Now it hosts the world's fastest zip line. It's been a full first day, and as dusk approaches, teams face the first long trek. 40 kilometres over Tryfan, the most technical mountain climb in Wales, and Snowdon, the highest mountain in Wales. Tryfan is first, and Adidas Terrex are in the lead.
We're just chasing daylight now, trying to get as much as a technical mountain stage done in the daylight. You can probably see it's pretty gnarly up here and windy. The daylight is fairly quick to move on, but at night you're really going to slow down.
Second place Swico are made up of former downhill skiers and even an ice hockey goalie. Not particularly useful skills right now, but the Swedes should have the mental toughness you need up here. Haglovs are third and involved in a tactical battle.
We're going to obviously go hard until it gets dark, because every hour is 2 hours in the night time, isn't it? So we're trying to stay ahead of the team behind us who are Danish and definitely want to follow our lines because they know we're local.
The highest mountain in Denmark would fit 6 times into this one. Scandia Adventure are possibly out of their comfort zone.
It's quite steep, so, but nice. I did expect more rain, but it hasn't rained that much yet.
Bruce and the Haglofs quartet are in their element.
My dad was an outdoor instructor, so I've been up mountains since before I was born, so I was going to always do that kind of thing. So I'm really happy running up steep, exposed things like that, and as the rest of the team. So we no worries and just go and go. And the thought of what if doesn't come into your mind, because that's when you start having issues of getting crag fast and going a lot slower.
For any teams leaving the checkpoint on the summit of Tryfan before nightfall, there must be a sense of relief.
How you guys getting on?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, loving it up there. Yeah, very atmospheric with the wind.
Some teams have no choice but to face it in the gloom of the night before moving on to Snowdon, a less technical climb but significantly higher. With many good footpaths and even a railway giving access, the top of Snowdon can get a bit busy during the day. There's no danger of a queue forming for Scandia Adventure when they arrive. They've lost touch with Haglofs, who've completed the trekking stage and are now contemplating the start of a second day's racing. Bruce Duncan is showing the strain. Or maybe it's the pressure of trying to keep up with Adidas Terrex, who are over an hour ahead and arriving at the Italianate village of Portmeirion, famously the film set for cult TV show The Prisoner. Before they escape, the teams must navigate an orienteering course. With a substantial lead, Adidas Terrex have time for a nap. The shelter afforded by this museum piece is ideal for the purpose, and soon they'll be getting 40 winks. Or trying to.
We've been racing for about 20 hours, really hard all day, and when you think, right, you've got 2 hours to sleep, and none of it, we all just laid there and our hearts were pounding, and we were so in race mode that we just couldn't sleep.
The wasted time is costly. Haglofs are the next team to arrive. The unique features of Portmeirion are easier to spot in the daylight, and the orienteering is soon completed. A 1 hour sleep refreshes the spirits almost as much as making up the gap to the leaders Adidas Terrex, who are just getting away after giving up on their sleep. Perhaps tiredness is leading to mistakes. Your kit is essential in any expedition race. It could save your life. and keeping it dry is just as important. The two lead teams set out together at the start of day 2, and after a short crossing on the Durid estuary, the journey south resumes on bikes as the incoming tide covers the road near Harlech. The journey has only just begun though. There are still 3 nights to race through and little sleep to be had as they face more of Wales's highest peaks, the water that runs from those mountains, and a crawl through the belly of the mountains too, drawing on every reserve of endurance in the race for the finish. Welcome back to the ITERA Expedition Race 2014. 36 international teams have come to North Wales to contest this round of the Adventure Racing World Series. And after taking on some of Wales's most stunning castles, its hardest and highest mountains, the teams continue southwards towards the finish in Cardiff, on the second day of 5 days of competition. The leading quartets are still close together, and there's no chance for a rest. The destination now is the iconic mountain of Cader Idris, meaning the chair of Idris. The gateway to mid-Wales. In local mythology, it's said to be where the giant warrior poet Idris sits to gaze at the stars. Team Adidas Terex are straight to the summit and off again. New team member Salia Zan is finding out what it's like to race with the world champions.
Yeah! All good! These boys are pretty rapid descenders, so they help me out. This is the first time I've come to a race where I feel like I've got the target on me, because I've always been in other teams where we've been always chasing Adidas Terex, and now I'm in the Adidas Terex team. I feel like, yeah, the pressure's on.
Haglofs are in second position. The incoming cloud won't slow them much, but once again they have a team on their tail who they'll want to drop.
We've got the Swedes just behind us. And their game plan is clearly to try and like John. I know we took a lot of time out of them last night with local knowledge, so they're working pretty hard, but we're steady away. Just want to try and get as much done in daylight as possible.
Really fast descent off Cader Idris to get away from them, which worked in the end. And yeah, you take a bit of a penalty yourself for that physically, but in the long run it's definitely well worth it.
So Swico have to pick their own way through the mist.
This is their backyard. They are finding every track. They are moving a bit faster than us, but have good energy in the team right now, so we try to keep on moving.
Once again, the leaders get to do the big climbs in the light, while the main pack face the mountains in the dark. Another local legend says that anyone who spends the night on Cader Idris will awake either a madman or a poet. The next morning, when the bulk of the teams are down from the mountain, after a second sleepless night, there are certainly some wild eyes to be seen.
13 hours plus later, that was a long hike. But man, it was so foggy and windy up there. It was like we were in a different planet.
There are certainly a few who don't know they're on Earth right now.
What was I doing last night? Oh, it's track. Yeah, it was good. I didn't sleep. I haven't slept at all.
The next stage is a 220-kilometre bike south through the Elan Valley via the waterfall at Devil's Bridge. Even when moving again, some of the racers are barely awake.
I've seen like dogs leaping out from behind the wall when it was just a fern. I was just falling asleep on my feet, my eyes kept shutting.
How are you feeling?
All right. My feet are hating me at the moment. They're completely blistery underneath, so it's going to be really interesting, the last track. Oh God, don't want to think about it.
At Devil's Bridge, the aching feet have to be placed briefly back into action with a run to the checkpoint at the waterfalls. As predicted, Ystwyth are catching up with the leaders again and are neck and neck with Haglofs, who are feeling the strain of the journey.
We've only had 90 minutes sleeping. It's over 48 hours of racing now, which is not enough. Keep on battling, see what happens.
The ride through the stunning Elan Valley will take the rest of the day, and there's little time to rest. As darkness falls, Adidas Terex are holding their lead and have arrived in Bilth Wells, not far from the end of the bike stage, and which offers plenty of venues to fuel up for the coming stages.
I think what I need more than anything else is a good sleep and a fat breakfast.
Okay, this is when the nature of this beast is, you know, you can be the strongest person in the world. It's all about mental stuff now. So I'm dreading the next 25k to Batesbury because I think it's going to be tough. But it's what it is.
The teams chasing them are racing hard for second, something which keeps them motivated. Adidas Terex cannot pause now as they head for the start of a kayak stage and day 4. Soon after they start the 30-kilometre paddle on the River Wye, Walhalla and Haglofs arrive in transition within a few minutes of each other. Lucy Spain has an injury after falling asleep in the saddle.
You seen my lovely. I've just rode into a bush literally in the last tiny bit. But yeah, it's all okay. Not too bad. Could have been a lot worse.
Despite the presence of their rivals, Walhalla and Ystwyth, Haglofs decide they must sleep, hoping to catch up again when the competition takes a rest later. The light rain turns to a downpour, but they're so tired they sleep through it all. While Ystwyth face the rain on the river. At the end of this stage, the last paddle strokes of the race have been completed. Now it's time for the final serious inclines that Wales puts in the way. The teams must now cross the Black Mountains and the Brecon Beacons on bike and foot, another 120 kilometres. Adidas Terex are still in the lead, while Walhalla are second and Ystwyth third. As they land in fourth, Haglofs find they not only have sleep in the bank, but they're just 40 minutes behind.
Ystwyth only left 40 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah. They left here 40 minutes ago.
Right. Kind of encouraging to know. Again, you know, we weren't going to go hammer and tongs after them. We went as hard as we could because, again, it was, you know, we were just sort of getting towards evening, so we wanted to make the most of the daylight. We knew there were a couple of bridleways that we'd have to find on that section. You know, daylight again helps, and you can have the brightest, most expensive head torch in the world, but there's no compensation for sunshine or just daylight to actually be able to help you find stuff.
While the mountains of North Wales are full of rocks and crags, those of the south are comparatively smooth, and the featureless landscape can be tough to navigate.
Can't see anything.
The summit of Pen y Fan is the highest point in the southern United Kingdom. This is where the SAS come to train, and the ITERA competitors will receive just as tough a test. The exit from the Brecon Beacons is via the cave system at Portmeirion. For some members of Adidas Terex, the discomfort and physical effort of making their way underground is almost a challenge too far.
Let's go, Chris. Come on.
But they have to press on towards the finish in Cardiff, just a mere 12 hours away if they can keep going. But some of them just can't go on. Hardly seen in the early stages, Walhalla are getting stronger as the race goes on. Some of them anyway. The South Americans make their way through the cave with Ystwyth racing for second. As they exit Portmeirion, they walk into the light of the final day of the race. The top 4 teams still have everything to fight for as they set out on the final hours of racing to the finish. Adidas Terrex have already begun that journey. Valhalla and Ystwyth are getting underway. Haglofs, who thought they were out of contention for the podium, suddenly find they're not.
Guys,
16, 17 minutes is usually the average.
All right.
Yeah.
Quite good to see Ystwyth over there, because we thought we've not been moving fast for the last few hours, so we thought, the game was up really, but no, they're 16 minutes ahead, so everything's still to apparently run for.
There's little opportunity to run on this terrain though. Tired minds need to take care. After racing so far, you don't want to blow it by falling on the rocks. The final bike stage is 75 kilometres along the Taff Trail to the Welsh capital, where the journey ends with Adidas Terrex's arrival at the finish outside the Cardiff Millennium Centre. Yet another impressive victory from Adidas Terrex in a winning time of 93 hours and 31 minutes for Sally Azan, Nick Gracie, Chris Hope and Kim Collison.
I think that is the hardest race I've done. It was pretty relentless actually. There's a lot of biking, which to be honest is my strength, so I shouldn't have been complaining, but I was suffering towards the end.
With enough left on the final stage to move up 2 places, Haglos Silva are second over the line.
Great to be back, and the sun's shining, and we're all absolutely knackered. We've had 4 hours sleep since Monday morning, so we're knackered. Completely knackered.
It's quite a tough one, gotta be said. I didn't really know what to expect before we started. I've done expedition races before, but I've never raced at the front, so it was hard, but good.
It's really good to see a lot of big international teams here, like good international teams, getting broken by our fells, our rivers, our mountain biking. It is tough.
A late surge from Team Adidas Terrex Face West puts them on the podium ahead of Valhalla and Adventure Team Salomon and Endurance Life. After missing a checkpoint in the mist on the Brecon Beacons, Ystwyth drop all the way to 7th. For some, it's been the challenge of a lifetime, but 34 out of the 36 teams that started finish and earn their moment of exhausted glory in Cardiff.
Fantastic landscape, and been ups and downs, and fantastic journey.
We saw some beautiful landscapes, so I think it was challenging, very challenging. We are all very tired and very happy to make it to the end.